Welcome back, Questers. One thing about Quest Nation, we have some of the great guests, and especially our returning ones. Then we have VIP status guests who have been here so long, so many times, and every time it's like it's brand new because they bring something different every single time. And this next man, he's been here so many times with us. He was here Quest 85, Quest 103, Quest 136, Quest 189 live, Quest 256, Quest 247, and on a couple MAGV and Quest Nation joints, WGOB and River West Radio. He's been a returning guest who have brought something back every single time. And I'm speaking of none other than my guy, Archbishop James Cloud. And he returns today. Really looking forward to speaking with him. I'm Roy Washington. And you already know, this is the Quest. We got you locked in. And on episodes like this, stay close. Don't tarry too far. Stay within the protection of the Quest. Milwaukee. This is my city. This is my home. Milwaukee. Home of Quest Nation. My home. Home of Giannis. Home of Quest Nation. Milwaukee. It is my pleasure to interview legends in music, education, authors, people knowledgeable of current events, legends in the paranormal field, and up-and-coming legends. It's my duty and my honor to spotlight upcoming great indie independent artists. Milwaukee. And I stretch my arms, Quest stretch arms, worldwide, across the globe, to talk to the very best. I'm Roy Washington. This is the Quest. And if you haven't figured it out by now, you should already know. We got you locked in.
Oh, let me try to get my camera on, man.
All right.
How you doing?
Doing fine, and you?
Doing good.
It's good.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
like
right.
the shirt.
Thank you. I always wear Hawaiian shirts when I'm not doing much. I wear it like a proud peacock or something.
All right. Nice haircut and everything.
Thank you.
Yeah. How's things been going?
Going good, man. Going good. I haven't heard from him in a few weeks, but apparently I got a couple projects coming up. One, I guess, is a documentary on exorcisms, and the other one, they're in talks to try and follow me around, I guess, but I haven't heard much on that one.
Follow you around while you're doing a case?
Yeah.
Oh.
And they said they want to do it like a Long Island Medium, where they follow your daily life and everything else. I'm like, okay, I'm not that interesting, but okay.
Well, that'd be nice to get some footage at home too, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. You should be excited about that.
I am. But you know what? Honestly, I don't get too whoopee-doo over projects. I mean, they're fun. I enjoy doing them, but it's just funny. You know, a lot of folks in the paranormal field, that they would give their left leg to do something like that. But for me, I'm just like, yeah, I'll do it. No problem. Then I do it, go home and play with my kids, you know. Just another day.
Yeah, I'll probably warn you now. I'm probably going to have you back on maybe next week or something. I know Miss Gillespie, she absolutely loves you. And she's going to be a little jealous if she, I interviewed you without her. But, I got my own request and I got to show it with her. So we probably have to have you with her again because she loves you.
Sure. How's she doing? I heard that her other kiddo died. You texted me that.
Yeah, she's kind of getting it together now. She's took a couple weeks away from everything. She's feeling a little better now, so I think she's ready to jump back in right now. So I'll check on her later on today. But yeah, it was tough on her.
Accident or the gun violence or something like that?
No, it was an aneurysm, we believe.
Oh, that's terrible.
Complaining of a headache. Yeah, no, I think passed away that night.
Oh, yeah. That's sad to hear.
Yeah. I'm glad it wasn't a gun violence case.
Yeah, that'd have been tragic. That would have tore her up.
Yeah, that's how she lost her son. So,
yeah.
So all prayers going out to her and everything. But she sounded pretty good last time I talked to her. Her spirits was up.
Good.
Yeah.
So
yeah, she loved it. Oh, okay. Because I was going to ask you if you had a stogie.
I cut back on my stogies, and now I just vape for the most part. I have a whole pack of cigars. I usually take them on my cases, but oh yeah, I smoke stogie on my case, man.
Okay.
Usually have fedora, my stogie, and my jacket, and
yeah. Clint Eastwood.
Oh yeah. Go in, man. I'm there to kick butt and take names.
Yeah, that's what you do, man. Yeah. I might have to light my pipe up right now, man.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, what scent is that?
This one is banana, blueberry, and cream.
Oh man, it's like a good combination.
Yeah, it is. It tastes like a blueberry muffin almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I was on a high nicotine. I was like on 20 nic or 18 nic for my vape. Now I'm down to 12. So
okay.
Doing better. But I love it.
How do you like your new state, your new city?
I love it here. It's Oregon got so oppressive, with the masks, the COVID, shutting everything down, driving most of the small business owners into, having to close shop. and it was just terrible.
Okay.
And then, you know, right after we moved out here, they closed it down again. And they don't even have that many cases. So, you know, in my mind, I'm just thinking, you know, it's just political manipulation out there, you know, try to pass a narrative.
Okay. And you got mountains out there, don't you, too? You're in West Virginia now, right?
No, I'm in South Dakota.
South Dakota. Oh, you got mountains there?
No, it's just nothing but the prairie and plains here.
Okay, that's nice though.
Yeah. You know, when I first moved here, everything was all the grass was dead, and then we got some rain, and now everything's green. It's like rolling hills of green grass, and the Missouri River is just literally a block away.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's gorgeous.
Bet you guys got some squatchers out there.
You know, I don't know. Maybe a skinwalker or two.
Yeah.
Because the other side of the river is the Standing Rock Reservation and another reservation of different Sioux.
Okay. Yeah, give me a second here. Here we go. Yeah. One of my newer ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like it. I used to smoke a pipe too. I like a good pipe.
Oh yeah. Once in a maybe on the weekend or just not every day for me.
Yeah.
You know, nice chocolate flavor.
Oh yeah. Yep. See, I was going through like almost 6 cigars a day, sometimes up to 8 cigars a day.
That's too much, yeah.
Oh yeah, my mouth was like hamburger, man.
Yeah.
I got that, what they call leukoplakia, the white patches in the mouth, and I'm just like, I'm gonna give myself cancer. I gotta stop.
Oh yeah. You didn't know if that messed with your blood pressure too?
Oh yeah. It messed with everything.
Yeah, that's why I just once in a while. Like I say, mostly on the weekend when I'm with the guys, you know, sitting around, have a bowl or something.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, I think this is your 11th time on Quest.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 11, man. That's awesome, man. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't had nobody else on that much, man. Maybe the closest is maybe 8 or 9.
Okay. Well, hey, I always have fun with you, man. It's always good. I enjoy talking to you, so.
Yeah, and like I said, I know Miss Gillespie's going to get a little jealous, so we're going to have to maybe have you on next week.
I'll be happy.
Yeah, let's get some violence in Quest Nation. Yeah, man. But like I said, she loves you to death, man.
Yeah, she seems like a very, very sweet woman.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, so everybody was everybody, just embraced her, during this time,
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, definitely send her my love too.
Okay, I definitely will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Questers, we're speaking with Archbishop James Cloud of South Dakota, formerly of Oregon. That place I've been talking about going, and I still might want to go about the Pacific Northwest, one day, do some squatching or something. Yeah. So, what? First of all, let's talk about 2020 for you. What was that? What was that like for you? I mean, when it first really started, when it first began, what were your thoughts? And I know we talked. I think it's the last time we had a show together. Lasting Darkness. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I think it was early 2020, like March or something.
Yeah. So what was your feelings around then about about everything and how did it affect you and your family?
Well, for myself, it didn't affect me a whole bunch because I don't get out on the town that much anyway. And for me, just staying home, it's fine with me. I'm happy just being in my little cubby hole and messing around on the computer or whatnot, going to work and everything. But overall, my family did just fine. You know, we actually think we had got COVID in December of 2019.
Okay.
My wife and I were both sick as dogs. You know, we had got real sick, upper respiratory stuff. I was laid out for a couple days. I mean, just so exhausted with everything. And it was like, once it was gone, it was gone. It was fine. And then, you know, a couple months later, they say, oh, well, COVID is coming around and everything else. And so my family hasn't got any vaccinations because we're pretty sure we had it. So
Okay.
yeah, and they say, you know, people that have COVID and didn't get the vaccine kind of get messed up. So we're erring on caution.
Okay. Yeah, you didn't did you lose any distant family members or anybody from your circle?
No.
Yeah.
We had a friend of ours that we knew from Bible college. He'd got COVID and he almost died. He was on a respirator. I mean, they had to induce a coma on him. He had a rough go of it, but he recovered and is doing fine now. So that's a great thing.
Yeah. You know, they had the hospitals and everything just full of people and people in the hallways laid out and everything. You know, I had a coworker who lost her mom. She was in the hospital. She couldn't even go see her during her last, moments. You know, and
that's sad.
that was really sad. Yeah, you know, yeah. I had another friend. I think their grandmother was in the hospital, and they just camped out at the hospital. Said we're not going nowhere. I think they was able to see her. You know. But yeah, 2020 was a rough year, and
yeah.
I've been driving around down here. It looked like a ghost town. Milwaukee looked like a ghost town for a while.
I bet it was.
And now to see how everything is now, it's just a kind of a blessing, man. It's everybody's out, and living their life again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what my family and I continued to do even through the whole COVID thing, just to not let it, affect us, and to live.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing. We wanted to, and I don't think our kids even were affected that much. I mean, my son, he had to wear a mask to school and whatnot. And then he had to do school by computer for a while too. And so, but that worked out great, but yeah, we had it pretty easy compared to a lot of folks in 2020. So I definitely count my blessings on that.
Okay. I was telling people that me and my oldest daughter, we went to go see King Kong and Godzilla.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we were sitting in the theater, and during the previews, and I just stopped. I took a look around, and I tapped her and I said, "Look around you. Isn't it good to see?" After she looked around, I said, "Isn't it good to see things kind of back to normal, coming from where we came from, as a race, as a people?" And she said, "Yeah, Dad. Because it was everybody was socially distanced, but the theater was as full as it could get with people."
That's good.
And so, I know we're going this weekend to see the new Fast and Furious movie. We're going this Friday to go see it. So I'm gonna take another mental picture when we're sitting in the theater again.
Yeah. I bet it'll be packed out too.
Oh yeah, even more so now. It seemed like the spacing, because I'm watching the games on the NBA on TV. It seemed like people are just together. They're not spaced out too much,
Yeah.
If you feel like wearing a mask, wear a mask. If you don't, But yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be even more tight in there this weekend. So I'm gonna take that moment again because I was a little down earlier in 2020, and I was riding around and some of it just looked like the movie what was that 20 Days Later or whatever. Remember that movie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or I Am Legend with Will Smith. That was a great movie. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great moment we had, and then just giving God, some praise and some thanks for that, just have people out again and everybody enjoying an event,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know it probably brought a lot of spirits up to be able to go out and do whatever. But of course, here in South Dakota, they never closed anything down. And no, never closed down the state, never mandated the masks, and we got some of the lowest.
Never at all?
Never at all.
Wow.
No. So for me, that was another selling point why we moved to South Dakota, because Oregon, it got almost draconian how they locked everything down, and if I remember correctly, in the county we lived in, if they had 50 cases, they closed down the entirety of Southern Oregon. And, that's such a small percentage of the people that live there. And they closed it down and made everyone lock up.
Wow. Did you have any cases before you left there, or do you have any cases since you arrived in South Dakota?
I haven't had any cases yet here in South Dakota, but couple folks have been asking questions about it. But they, when they hear exorcist, the horror movie goes through everyone's mind, and it's
right.
But I did have a pretty significant case before I left. It was a guy that had been struggling with, I think I might have mentioned it before too, a Wendigo, multiple Native American spirits, poltergeist activity. I mean, they had videos of this thing crawling under his blankets at night and getting on top of him.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was crazy, man. And when I was there and did it, as I was going through his house, and doing my prayers and whatnot, and basically aggravating the crap out of it, so that, just because I do get kind of a thrill that they run away and cower. But literally, we heard footsteps running away from me. I would follow them immediately into little nooks and crannies in the house. I would get them in there, and then they caught, just from what they've told me so far, they've caught a lot on video and audio from that. As I'm going around tagging each spot, you've got spirits shooting out of that place. And reminded me of another case I did, I guess it would have been 4 years ago or so. This other person had called me out to their house, and they kept seeing shadow people and like nebulous cloud-like shadows in the house, and having their names called and being pushed. And so they called me out, and the homeowner was sitting outside while I was doing my thing inside. And she said, as I was going through the house, she literally saw these shadow people shooting out the windows, like going, nope, nope, nope. And even 2 or 3 of them, because there were a couple people there with her, saw a big shadow person shoot out the back door and run down the street and down the block.
Wait for the heroes.
They're just like, nope, nope, not staying around.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because I tell you, I'm a big teddy bear, but when it comes to protecting people, that you got the Kodiak Grizzly,
Oh, yeah.
they're gonna get the boot.
So the other case, when the thing was getting on top of him, what was it doing? Was it trying to take his breath, or what was going on there?
It was choking him out. He said it tried to enter his mouth. He said he woke up and this black mist was shooting into his mouth, almost like on a TV show or something.
Yeah.
And I didn't see that, but that was what was reported to me. But what I saw when I went there that night was, I've seen them before. They're probably 2.5 feet tall, 3 feet tall, all shadow, and they just, they whip around. And that night, you actually heard the footsteps going tick, 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 running away, or going and hiding in a dark recess on the second floor. It was active, and of course with the Native American spirits, I've helped work with some of the native tribes out in Oregon a little bit to clear up some of the stuff of the white settlers and the Native American spirits. And most of the time, I usually bring a big pouch of tobacco, not because I think I have to do that or anything, but just show respect to the culture, because that bringing a offering of tobacco is actually a sign of respect to the native. And so
they put it in a peace pipe, right?
What was that?
They put them in the peace pipe, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Tobacco was a commodity, and so I always bring tobacco when I go on a reservation or I'm visiting, discussing a case with a Native American family or whatnot, just because, we screwed them. The whites, good Lord, we messed them up so bad, and we're still messing them up so bad. You should see the current states of the reservations around here. We're still not fulfilling what we agreed to, and it saddens me, because it's uncalled for. If you make an agreement, you should be backing that up and doing what you're supposed to be doing, instead of whatever else comes to mind. So it's just one of those things. I'm a big squish, I guess, for folks, and I see myself in their shoes. I mean, I don't take it to extremes where I throw myself down on the martyr's altar or something, but at the same time, I'm going to show respect. I'm going to be kind and benevolent and whatever else, So,
Right.
yeah.
How do you feel about the Black Lives Matter movement?
There's absolutely been injustices over the years, and it's just history on the injustices that have happened to Black folks. And I get where they're coming from. The idea of white privilege, that you don't say I'm walking down the neighborhood at night. They're not going to think I'm casing the houses and whatnot. Whereas another totally harmless Black individual, they might go, I wonder what they're doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But again, but the movement itself, I can't get behind the movement itself because of the socialist agenda behind it. Mm-hmm. Because I'm a freedom loving dude, and I believe in equality. But when it comes to equity, that's more akin to what you found in the Soviet Union or currently in China, where everyone's on the same level, but everyone's equally miserable. So, there's give and take in anything, and there's valid points in any movement, I think. But at the same time, no matter which race you are, you can't go overboard, because then you lose your voice, because you're going to create resistance. When the whole BLM movement came out, I thought of Dr. Martin Luther King, and his way of doing things, and he shook the nation with his peaceful methods. Ultimately it got him shot, which it was a travesty. But if they took that movement and modeled it after him, I think they could do great things, and I think they should do great things, because everyone should feel as if they're worthy members of society, that they're not going to be looked at because of color of skin or whatnot. Like for myself, I'm an Italian Jew. When I took my DNA test, I found out, oh, I'm an Italian Jew. I thought I was Italian Portuguese, but no, I'm Italian Jew, because during the Inquisition, my Jewish ancestors had to hide their Jewish heritage and convert to the Catholic Church. Otherwise, literally, they'd be driven out into the ocean to drown or killed. So they blended in and just said, oh, we're just Portuguese. We're like you, that kind of thing. And when it comes to anti-Semitism or any type of racism, I'm one of the least racist individuals I think probably exists, but I'm also one to hold people to account. I'll get on a white person for being a jerk. I'll get on to a black person for being a jerk. Red, purple, polka dot, it don't matter to me. If you're a jerk, you're a jerk, and y'all need to get your head out your butt. So for me, skin color is just different shade of melanin. It just is what it is.
Well, when they stormed the Capitol, what went through your mind when the Capitol was stormed and taken over for that day or whatever?
Well, I kind of wondered what in the heck they were doing, for one. It was really surreal. They weren't hurting anyone. I know that one officer was killed, but subsequent reports came out, which the mainstream media didn't report, that it was a brain aneurysm or some odd thing from the stress. But then the Capitol Police shot that one woman, and no one was armed. And haven't heard anything about the Capitol Police firing on that one gal. So, to use a term, it was a cluster F, and I'll just leave it at that. I'll censor that part. It wasn't necessary. Absolutely, anyone and everyone has a right to protest, because that's in our Constitution. You absolutely have freedom of speech to say what you like, and there's a difference between hate speech and speech that you hate. So, and I think that kind of has gotten convoluted over the last couple of years, because there's been a lot of things that a lot of people on both sides of the aisle, I don't like what they're saying. It's not hate speech. I just don't like what they're saying. but they have a right to say it because, well, First Amendment.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I'm gonna, be so open-minded my brain falls out, because I do have some personal beliefs and standards just like anyone else. And so, I look at it, and that the protest that went into a riot on the Capitol Hill, they shouldn't have did that. There was no reason for that. Just because a president gets in that you're not a fan of, doesn't give you the right to, again, be a jerk or a jackass and whatever. Just like the rioters in Portland, they have a right to protest. They don't have a right to burn everything down. There's there's a difference in that too. But
Right.
it's there's just a lot of things going on in the world that tell me the return of Christ is pretty darn close. Things are coming to a head in the Middle East. Things are coming to a head in the social systems of the world. And we know for a fact that the last, as it's described in the book of Revelation, the last political regime that'll unite the world is a socialist dictatorship. So, because everyone will follow one man under one religion, and everyone will either submit or be killed, imprisoned, whatever. So, and I see shadows of that already with people, canceling this person or canceling that person or canceling this book, or for God's sake, Dr. Seuss. Really? The who's its and what's it? Yes, of course they're, racist what's it or who's it's.
What happened with Dr. Seuss? They canceling that or something? Or what you saying?
Yeah, there were a couple books, you should look it up, that they canceled Dr. Seuss because they said those books were racist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I've never seen a racist thing in Dr. Seuss ever.
Yeah, the cat in the hat and all that?
Yeah.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, they're going for it, man. And I've always been one, if something's wrong, you can use examples of history to show where it went wrong, but let's focus on what we're going to do to make it better, to make sure no one is disenfranchised, no one is made to feel less than, no one is made to feel less than human, or less than made in the image of God. Okay. So to find a solution where there will be equality, that there will be mutual understanding, conversations, discussions, in positive ways. No one pointing fingers at each other of any race, creed, culture, or whatever, and saying, "Oh, you're bad. Well, one, for me as a white man, I didn't live during the Civil War. I didn't do those things. Now, I will admit, I had grandfathers that fought for the South in the Civil War. All of them did. But even when you look at the Civil War was primarily about taxation on the southern states with the cotton fields. And the slavery issue, they got slick in the North and said, well, we'll release the slaves too, and therefore it'll be a moral war. And so if people look at history, you see some of these sly little details. If the South hadn't resisted, slavery would still be there. I'm almost certain of it. The North wouldn't have got on the high horse, but because they needed the public opinion and to make everyone think they're the moral superiority there, they went for it. Okay. Even though I totally agree, it should never have been there in the first place. But History is an interesting little beast. There's, like I always say, there's always three sides to every story. You know, his side, her side, and the truth. And history very much is written by the victors. History is very much written by the dominant culture to reflect the best light on the dominant culture. And I mean, I look at, I think it was called the Tuskegee experiments in like the 40s and 50s with the blacks in, I think it was Mississippi or one of those southern states, injected them with syphilis. They said, oh, we're from the government, we're here to help. Inject you with syphilis, here, take this vaccine, and we're gonna see how it all works out. Never gave the poor folks anything to help recover. They wanted to see how bad it got with the syphilis. I mean, it's inexcusable.
Yeah.
And it obviously was racism at play there. You have like Margaret Sanger, who founded Planned Parenthood. She was a hideously notorious racist. And it was all about finding the master race, you know, through eugenics. And that was...
Oh, you froze up at the end of that.
Yeah, you froze up on me too. I looked like I was fine in my camera, but just had this look like... I'm like, oh God, I said something wrong. I'm sorry.
Everything froze for a second.
Yeah.
But what? I mean, what was your last words on that?
Oh, I was saying that, you know, Margaret Sanger, because I was talking about in the past how, you know, racism absolutely has been an issue. Like Margaret Sanger and Planned Parenthood.
Right.
She founded Planned Parenthood basically to eradicate black babies. And Planned Parenthood recently denounced her because all of that came to light. And so they said, oh, no, that was then, it's not now. And, you know, so, and it was based on eugenics. People think Hitler invented, you know, the master race, the Aryan nation, et cetera, et cetera. Actually, that was an American thing from the early 1900s. Okay. And Germany actually simply borrowed that and said, yeah, we need blonde hair, blue eyes. You know, I'd be screwed. You know, dark hair, brown eyes. But, and a Jew. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in trouble there.
Yeah, I've been taking a gas shower.
You were talking about the dictatorship as one person rule. Without naming a name, do you see a figure right now that you would kind of bet that that's your leading person, or do you think that he's not yet born or not yet in the spotlight yet?
Well, there's one person I'm watching, and that's Jared Kushner.
Who's that?
Trump's son-in-law, because he was able to go into the Middle East and make all of these peace deals that no one else in history has been able to make. And so, and even the Jewish leadership hinted that they consider him a messianic figure, which is who the Antichrist will be, is a messianic figure for both the Jews and the Muslims. So, because in that way he'll unite both under his umbrella and thereby solidify his hold. But as far, and then the sidekick to the Antichrist, that's the false prophet, I seriously believe it's going to be a pope. Because in Revelation, it describes the false prophet as having the appearance of a lamb, which meaning a Christian.
Yes.
But he'll speak with the words of the dragon. And so it'll be nothing but evil that comes out of the false prophet's mouth, and it's actually the false prophet that does all the signs, wonders, miracles, calling down fire from the sky, which that could even just be a space laser for all we know. But and it makes the most sense because the Vatican has been hosting every religion on the face of the earth in their cathedral. I mean, they want a one world religion, basically. Yeah. And the current Pope says that, hey, all roads lead to Rome, basically. And that's exactly what the false prophet will do for the first 3.5 years of the tribulation. And then, of course, once Antichrist reveals that, he goes, no, I'm God, and we're all going to worship Lucifer. Then that's when the false prophet clicks over, and it's pure Luciferian worship at that point.
Wow. I'm going to do some research on him.
Yeah. Look, research.
Nobody else in history is able to do that, and he's able to do that. So that's.
And with Eve, he shocked everyone. He shocked everyone in Washington because they actually laughed at Trump when he assigned him to do the Mideast plans, because Trump actually didn't do anything for the Middle East. It was Kushner that negotiated everything.
Okay.
And of course, he was acting on Trump's authority. But again, that's another indicator of the Antichrist, because the Antichrist doesn't come on his own authority. It's an endorsement by others in authority that he rises to power.
Okay.
So, and he'll be a peacemaker. He'll be this, but Kushner, I don't know if he has the personality type to be able to fit the Antichrist the best, but because he's kind of a standoffish kind of guy, but who knows? But yeah, but as far as the sidekick to Antichrist, the false prophet, I believe it'll be a pope.
Okay. But he would have a team with him though, right? So maybe where if that's not his strength, maybe somebody on his team. So maybe if he's the top dog, maybe he got a team that can handle the smaller, situations or something like this.
Yeah, and he will have 7 world leaders to do it, which is interesting because that could be the G7. So you never know.
There's been a lot of talk about is it the 26th that some reports about our dealings with aliens and spacecrafts are supposed to come out. What do you think we're going to find out? And, what do you think they're going to load on us?
Well, I think the government's going to play dumb again and just go, well, we really don't know what they are. These things have been flying around since the 40s, big time, since we developed nukes, basically. And they've been shutting down nuke sites in Russia and the US, basically saying, no, you're not going to nuke yourselves to high heaven, forget it. And if you try, we'll just shut them down. So there's that. But did I ever tell you about my own experience with UFOs?
No.
Oh, dude.
Please share.
Yeah. So this happened back in 1976. It was in Pine Grove, California. The Pioneer and Pine Grove are right next to each other. And I remember playing with my Tonka trucks in the dirt, and it was the good Tonka trucks back then, the metal ones that you could put yourself on pretty good. But my parents were to my right on the deck with my grandma and my grandfather. I don't remember my grandpa being there, but my mom told me recently that he was there too. And I thought he was in the house. And they're talking, I'm just playing with my cars and whatnot. And all of a sudden, they start whooping and hollering and pointing up in the sky, and there's 3 huge black triangle craft sitting overhead about 150 feet above us. So, close and not making a sound. They're triangle craft in a triangle formation, and they're just sitting there. And they had a white light on each tip of the triangle with a central red light that looked like a lava lamp, not the bulbous type, but the one that it's all fluid and just kind of swirls in the heat. It kind of looked like that. And they just sat there, and from under the craft, it looked like, on a hot day, the roads, how you see the mirages and the kind of the wavy air coming off of hot asphalt. Well, that kind of look was coming from the bottom of the craft and coming down to a degree. And we're all sitting there looking, and my grandmother, she's like, I hope they're not going to hurt us, because literally they were right on top of us. And then about 30-45 seconds later, they just go from up top to over the horizon like that. All
Just
3
like that?
Yep, just like that.
Wow.
And they almost looked like they elongated, to my memory, as they left, because they left so fast. It was like it was just, and it was insane.
No, I didn't. Okay.
Yeah, but then that night, so that night, my parents didn't experience anything. I was, you can say, lucky or unlucky, depending on how you view it. I was laying in bed and I heard this like a boom, boom, boom sound. And I wake up, I'm 4 years old, I'm a kid. I don't have any points of reference. So I'm just like, gee, that's a weird sound. And, I'm looking around, and my next memory is I'm standing in our living room and the sound is getting louder. And there's green, blue, red, and white orbs of light all in the front room, and they moved with the sound. So as it went, whoa, they go, whoa, 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 and as a 4-year-old, no points of reference. I'm just sitting there like, wow, that's kind of interesting. Look at all these lights and that weird sound, and as an adult, I'd be like, I'm out of here, man. This is I'm about to get probed or something. And so, but as a 4-year-old, I was just like, oh, this is kind of cool. And the sound got louder and faster. And as the sound got louder and faster, the orb started moving faster and faster and faster until it reached this crescendo of speed and sound. And then it just stopped. And out of the middle of the living room, this gold orb just went, whoa, and it grew into an orb maybe the size 4 feet in diameter ish, and outstepped this being. And it looks a lot like you see the Greys, but the gray aliens, the little bald dudes with the spindly limbs and whatnot. But he wasn't gray. He was honey brown, like a golden brown. And he opened his little arms. He had these big, actually really beautiful eyes. I can see him now, like a amber honey gold eyes, and they almost looked like they had light in them, because his eyes were slightly illuminated in the irises. And he opened his arms and he said, James, come to me. And as an adult, I'm processing this, and I'm thinking, as an adult, how did he know my name, for one?
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
This is weird. But he also didn't speak with his mouth, but I heard his voice clear as day. So it, lack of a better term, telepathy or whatnot. So as a 4-year-old, I felt comfortable going with this guy. And so I did. My next memory is I'm walking with this, and it was male from what I perceived. Um, and I'm walking hand in hand with him down into it's like a big control room kind of. There's a big screen at one end. There's 3 consoles that go from, so it was a long room, and the consoles went from one end to the other with spaces in between that you could walk through.
Okay.
And they were silver consoles. The room was silver. And we walked through, and he was telling me about, and I can't remember the specifics, I wish I could, about things that were going to happen on the earth. So some of the things I do remember him telling me was that they serve the great king, and that the great king is coming soon to take the earth, which as an adult, as a Christian, I'm thinking, the great king, okay, that's Jesus Christ. And he is coming back to take control of the earth. So as an adult, I'm thinking, these must be the Grigori, or the Watchers, the ones that haven't fell, not the bad guys, but the ones that didn't fall, like in the book of Enoch. So he's, telling me all of this, and we're walking, and we go up basically it's kind of looked like more of a center aisle. It was, there's the 3 console things, and we walked around the first one and up between the first and second console, and there was 3 seats, and it was kind of a half moon seating thing, like you would, a half moon lounge kind of chair kind of thing, but it has 3 seats on it. The 3 seats were silver, and on so there's like 2 seats, and then the middle seat. Well, in the 2 seats, you had 2 kids, and they had like a tube hooked up to the back of their head, and they were just doing their thing, just sitting there like doot 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 doot. And he walked me up to the center seat, sat me down, and I remember them just placing something on the back of my head, and that's it. And then I woke up the next morning telling my mom how I talked to the silver robot guy last night. And because that's how I described him as a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
So I know that they're real. I've met them, at least, whatever type of being that particular brand was, because there was quite a few of them in that control room, and they all looked identical. I mean, It was little clones of each other. It was interesting. And then later on, I'd actually joined the Masonic Lodge, and so because I'm a 32nd degree Freemason.
Oh.
And so
my brother.
I'm Scottish Rite. Huh?
My brother.
Oh, okay. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm Scottish Rite. And I got the opportunity to sit down with 3 engineers, 3 retired engineers. One was from Lockheed Martin, one was from NASA, and the other one was from one of the other black budget contractors that do all the high tech for the government. And I'm sitting across from these guys, and it occurred to me, I got the ones that would probably know exactly what I'm talking about when I tell them about the ships I saw, sitting right across from me. But I also know they probably can't tell me because of secrecy oaths. So what I did was, I thought, well, I can't ask them, but I can watch for their reactions. So I drew the ship on my napkin, and I slid it as I was sliding, I go, "Hey guys, I want you to ask you something. Have you ever seen this?" And went, shoved it in front of him, and the Lockheed Martin guy goes, "No, I haven't seen anything like that." And then the other one, I want to say it was Boeing, and he said no, he hadn't seen one. But the NASA guy went, "No," and I went, "Oh, you lie!" And I'm like, "Okay, NASA knows what they are. Okay."
Right.
So I had got confirmation that way. But then the other two were talking about, nuclear powered aircraft and other things that they'd tried to work on and getting power differentials right. I mean, I started a whole nerd session on engineering by describing flight characteristics and everything else. And one goes, "Maybe it was a drone." I go, "Guys, this was 1976. Did we
Right.
have drones in 1976? And they're like, "No, we didn't." I go, "Okay." So, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
That was
for
very
me,
interesting.
it when they actually do disclose that,
Yeah.
we're not alone. For me, it's just like, yeah, I've known it for all my life,
Okay.
so it's not a big deal, and it meshes perfectly with Genesis 6, where the sons of God came down and cohabitated with women and created the Nephilim. And they're close enough genetically to reproduce, but with some striking genetic features. So, and those that fell were bound in the bottomless pit, and then the ones that didn't fall, I think they're the ones that we still see. The
Okay.
chariot, like a fiery chariot that took Elijah, could have been one of them. And if they do serve the great king, makes perfect sense that they would come and grab Elijah and take him wherever God told them to take him. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I've tried to because I can't deny what happened. I can't deny the veracity and truth of it. So for me, I've had to try and figure it out over the years using science, quantum science, theology, other things that could help make sense of it. And there are references in the scripture for it. So, and quantum science, and I would add too, I don't think these guys are from, another star system. These are dimensional beings because they can wink right out of sight in a heartbeat. And so to me, it smells of multiple dimension, higher dimensions that these guys can slip in and out of. So,
Okay.
and there was a report I found on the FBI.gov, their UFO files that they released. There was a report from 1947, I think it was, saying that these are beings from another planet that is superimposed over our planet. It's a, but they said it's not a planet like, you'd have to see the report. He said basically it's not a planet like we think of a planet, but it's like a superimposition of another place that these guys come from, and they can just whip in and out of the dimension. And because it's in a higher dimension, because in quantum physics they say there's up to 13 dimensions, and we can only see and experience fourth being time. So they can just phase in and out of that and appear, disappear, do whatever the heck they want, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced because so they made contact with you that time. Could during your lifetime, could they have come back and maybe beamed you up or something again and you didn't know about it, or you lost time? Because you hear a lot of people talking about they periodically they come back and get them, and then maybe they lose time or whatever. You think that
So,
could have possibly happened to you?
so that's interesting. So yes, it has happened. Nothing happened since that I recall, at least, from that 4-year-old me going with these guys till 2008. I think it was right in that time. My wife and I were laying in bed. We were living in Medford, Oregon at the time, in a little house. We're laying in bed. We just got in bed for the night. And all of a sudden I heard that whoa, whoa. And I went, oh, holy crap. It was like I was back at 4 years old. And I told her, because she goes, what is that? I go, it's them. And she's like, huh? I go, you know what I've told you about abduction? And she's like, oh my God. And I said, that's exactly the sound. And it was getting louder. And I'm like, oh crap. Okay, well, they were nice to me the first time. I'm hoping they're going to be nice to me this time. And just as I said that, we both look out the window, and you see this little gray head walking by, just the top of this head going, like it's walking from one side of the window to the other.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, holy crap, no. I grabbed my 9mm, because I kept it by my bed at that time. I cocked that sucker. I'm like, only one of us is walking out of here tonight. I go out the front door to confront whatever this is. Nothing around, and the sound stopped.
No.
And I just looked around, and there was nothing. And then fast forward to, I think it would have been early last year, actually, early 2020.
Okay.
My old boss and I used to play poker all the time because he and I became great friends, and he's an awesome older gentleman. And I used to drive 30 minutes to go play with him and a bunch of older guys, because I love hanging around with the older guys anyway. And so I was playing poker with them. And we closed shop about 1 a.m. And I was driving back home, and I'm driving. It was driving back the car. And it normally takes 30 minutes to get from there to my town and my house at that time. And I'm driving, and as I crest a hill, I noticed this ship just take off. And I'm like, well, that's weird. But it wasn't lit up. All I saw was kind of the brownish thing that you would kind of see on a night. You can't see real good in it, but I definitely saw the ship and the motion of it. It shot off to my left. I'm like, well, that's really weird. I get home, it's 2:30. I left at 1, and I lost an entire hour.
Wow.
And I remember, the only thing I remember from that time is like a flash image of the very tall, very beautiful, blonde hair, blue-eyed person, a female. I remember, it's just like a snapshot image of that night. And I don't remember anything else, but yeah, I lost an hour that night. And, but it was like I never stopped driving.
Right.
I was just driving, doing my thing, and I saw the ship. I'm like, well, that's weird. Look down, it's an hour and a half later, or hour later than it should be.
Oh.
What the? I'm like, great. Just great.
They set you up on a date and zapped the memory of it. Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but something happened. And my wife was even like, man, you're home late. I'm like, I know. So I told her the whole incident. She's like, yeah, you got probed. I'm like, will you stop it?
That may have happened.
Who knows? I wasn't walking funny the next day, so I guess it's okay.
Well, like I said, maybe they had set you up on a date. Maybe
Maybe, but it was like this female was telling me something, and then it's just gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just there's a lot of weirdness that goes on with me.
Yeah, they beamed you up on the ship and had some Luther Vandross playing, and hour later they put you back in the car.
Who knows? But I definitely lost the hour. I had that flash memory. I saw the ship.
That's strange.
Just strange,
Yeah.
If I didn't experience the things I experienced, one as an exorcist or even this stuff, I might not believe it because, it does sound pretty wild out there, crazy, schizophrenic or whatever a person might label it. But it happens, it just happens.
If they do that project where they follow you around, I'm gonna watch every episode of that.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't heard anything from them. And the producer said, "Oh, I'll call you in a couple weeks." I haven't heard nothing. But that's Hollywood, they get all hyped up, say, "Yeah, we're gonna do this," and then you never hear from them again because the channels didn't buy it or something. But for sure, I think it was Travel and Discovery bought the one documentary series I'm going to be on. I just haven't heard back from the gentleman about that yet. So, and it's been about 2 weeks.
What? Okay. What's this documentary again?
It's about exorcisms, I believe.
Yeah.
Or spiritual things, but I think it's going to be a lot like when I was on In Search of Monsters, or like It Feels Evil, or even Ghost Adventures, where I'm on just like 1 or 2 episodes, and that's about it. But it's something else. And I also discovered I'm on IMDb now. And so the ones that I have been on are on there. So that's kind of interesting and cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else is going on with you that you want to share? Besides being Mr. Mom and...
Oh yes, I'm Mr. Mom now. Though we got into town, and my wife works for the state of South Dakota now, and the folks that run in those circles, they found out, I have a master's in marriage and family therapy, plus I'm a drug and alcohol counselor. And so they're trying to scout me to work in a clinic. I'm just like, no, my kiddos are more important.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I do and just be daddy for now. So, yeah. Because I love it. Like, even after we're done here, I promised my boy we're going to lay on the bed here and he's going to tell me all about trains and telephone poles and how they work. And he's 7 and he's all excited about these things. I'm like, okay. And he knows I'll be rubbing his legs or his back or his arms just to help him relax, and he can tell me all about these things, and I love it. I do the same thing for my daughter, and so
that's so cool. You're gonna watch you didn't. I mentioned King Kong vs. Godzilla earlier. Did you chime in on that one when it first came out, as far as who you thought the winner would be, or did you ever get into science fiction movies?
My vote was for King Kong. I haven't seen it, so I don't know who won, but if I had to choose, it'd be King Kong.
It's a great movie. That's what I'll tell you. It's a great movie.
That's great.
Yeah. You plan on looking at it, right?
Oh, I probably will at some point.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, give us your social media, sir, and I'm sure, I'm going to be in contact with you about another show with Miss Gillespie very soon.
Sounds great. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, my social media, of course, is Paranormal Research Investigators of St. Michael. We're on Facebook. We also have a website that links into that uh, Facebook page. So you can find the website, everything on that. I also have a book on Amazon called Walking with Ghosts, an Exorcist Memoir of the Paranormal. And so that's on there too. And that's really just started as a journal of the things my families went through. And come to find out, my mom had an experience at 4 years old with what could
4?
be described as an alien. Yeah. And
That
so
seems to be a
it's,
pattern.
yeah, there's a family pattern. And we've had the sight through the maternal line too. And come to find out through my dad's side, though my dad didn't have the sight at all, but his mom and all the way back down that line also did. So I'm a walking weirdo. That's ultimately that's what it comes down to. Let's be honest. But yeah, so the book is kind of a journal of what they went through. My mom describes a haunted house she lived in, and
Wow.
as a kid, and yeah. So
Oh man, we got to. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot to talk to you about with Miss Gillespie.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
thank you for coming on again, man. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. You know,
Absolutely. I'm always happy to talk to you, Roy.
yeah. And one more question: do you have the remember that little trailer you hooked up, Exorcist Files, or remember that
Oh
little trailer?
yeah.
Do you
Hmm.
have the actual file? Do you have the actual MP4 file, or
I think I might. I'd have to look.
I need it if you have it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then send me a couple of them Clint Eastwood photos with the shades and the skirt.
I shall do that for you.
Send me a
You
couple of
bet.
them for this show, okay?
All right, you got it, man.
All right, man. Thank you, brother. Love you, man, and I'll be talking to you soon.
All right, love you too, brother. You take care.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye bye.